What's up, everybody? It's the Alex Leak and Friends NFL podcast, back for another week. I'm your host, Alex Leak, and on this episode, we're going to preview the 2019 Minnesota Vikings, coming off a year where they would say they underachieved, going 8-7-1, and just missing out on the playoffs. They'll look to do better and get the ship turned around now. Just 2 years ago, this team was in the NFC Championship, but that was with a different quarterback in Case Keenum. And last year in the offseason, they go out and they sign Kirk Cousins to 3-year, $84 million deal, all fully guaranteed. So a lot of pressure on Kirk Cousins to get the job done, get the team into the postseason, which Kirk Cousins has yet to play a postseason game. And this is a good opportunity. He's got a good team around him in Minnesota, and they just have to do better than last year. Last year, obviously, a disappointment. I think a lot of it is the offensive play calling. I think that John DeFilippo didn't do him any favors. And from it made it seem like he was trying to be a flashy offense, a pass it all over the field type offense. And I don't think that's Kirk Cousins' strength. I don't think that's the Minnesota Vikings' strength. I think, play a balanced offense, play a balanced game, play a balanced offense, run the ball. You got a dominant defense, so take time off the clock, make it a shorter game, and let the defense keep you in it. But we'll see what happens this year. They're gonna go with Kevin Stefanski as the offensive coordinator. He took over late in the year last year, and I thought did a pretty good job, started fixing the team. But a big concern for Minnesota has to be that they were in a position to get into the playoffs with a win, and they couldn't get it done against the Bears, who were already clinched. And so to lose that game, Week 17, and miss out on the playoffs. I mean, it wasn't even that close. They lost 24-10. A bad loss. Now, granted, the Bears had a great defense, number one defense in football last year. But the Vikings and their fans expect more than that, going eight wins in a season. So in the draft, they address offensive line with center Garrett Bradbury out of North Carolina State. A lot of people were very high on him coming out of the draft, coming out of college. So good draft pick there. Address the line, protect Kirk Cousins better. In the second round, they get tight end Irv Smith, who I really like. I think, all the hype was around O.J. Howard coming out of the draft, but I really like Irv Smith. I think that he can be a big impact there in Minnesota. Thought originally to be the Kyle Rudolph replacement, but then the Vikings re-signed Kyle Rudolph, so now they have a two-headed monster at the tight end position. But I really like the Irv Smith, Garrett Bradbury picks. In the third round, running back Alexander Madison out of Boise State. I like this pick as well. I think he's a solid running back. You lose Latavius Murray, but you replace him with Alexander Madison and Dalvin Cook. So good 1-2 punch there at the running back position. They also added Amir Abdullah from the Lions, and they have Rock Thomas as well on the roster. And then in the seventh round, corner Chris Boyd out of Texas. I like that pick. He's a seventh rounder, so could get some really good value if he turns out to be anything, on the field. Right now they have him as third on the depth chart at corner, but I think he'll move up to second. You got Jaron Kearse, but on the other side is between Mackenzie Alexander and Duke Thomas. I think Chris Boyd will jump up. You also got Xavier Rhodes, Holton Hill, guys like that, Mike Hughes. So they have a deep cornerback room, defensive back room. So Chris Boyd, decent get. Overall, the draft grade, I like what the Vikings did. I give them a B for their draft. They did lose some players. They lost Latavius Murray, like I mentioned earlier, defensive end Brian Robeson. Quarterback Trevor Siemian, not a huge loss. Safety Andrew Sendejo. defensive tackle Sheldon Richardson, and tackle Mike Remmers. But yeah, they give Kyle Rudolph 4-year, $36 million deal. And I expect the Vikings to be much more committed to the run in 2019, much more balanced on offense. Kevin Stefanski, I believe in him. I think he's going to do a good job. And they also bring in Gary Kubiak as an offensive consultant who I think can really help the offense. So I have the Vikings doing pretty well. I had them doing better last year than they did. Now they're in a tough division. Even the bottom of the NFC North isn't that bad. The Detroit Lions are still a pretty good team. But the Packers are going to be right there. The Bears are going to be just as good. So I expect anyway. So I think the Vikings are in for a fight, but I do think they find a way to get around 10 wins and get into the playoffs. I think they'll finish second in the division and get a wild card spot and get into the playoffs. If you're the Vikings, you really want to win the division, get that home field for the playoffs. But like I said, tough division. You got the Bears, you got the Packers fighting. So I do expect the Vikings to be better, though. Reason for optimism. And it really all hinges on Kirk Cousins. He's the big money quarterback, fully guaranteed money. He's well into his prime now, and he's got to get the job done. No more excuses for Kirk Cousins. Yeah, we can blame the play calling, but at the end of the day, Kirk Cousins has to make the throws, has to hit the open guy, and not take sacks in certain moments. So we'll see if they can get that done. Gary Kubiak is a great offensive mind. Kevin Stefanski showed improvement over DeFilippo. Again, I think DeFilippo was just running a bad offense for the team. And Mike Zimmer was frustrated, obviously. Mid-season last year, you could hear him saying, we got to get back to the run game. We got to get established in the run game. And it just didn't seem like DeFilippo had any interest in that. So we'll see if Stefanski should be more apt to listen to Coach Mike Zimmer. And he'll also have Gary Kubiak as offensive consultant who is going to make sure things stay good. So big year for the Vikings. Again, I got them winning 10 games and finishing second in the NFC North and getting to the playoffs. So we'll see what they do. If the Vikings can get into the playoffs, maybe make some noise, get an upset win or two. So hope you guys liked the episode. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, subscribe, or leave a comment. And have a great week, guys. Peace out.